Hello. So this is my assessment project, Title 3 Accountability, and it's done by me, Michael Santos, nobody else. So what is it? Well, Title 3 Accountability is part of the Elementary and Secondary Act. Title 3 Accountability was created to implement language instruction educational programs designed to help English learners and immigrant students attain English language proficiency and meet the state's academic and content standards. So this is a form of assessment, and how is it assessed is through the California English Language Development Test, which is known as the CELDT. And this assessment is done annually every year through K through 12. So the test is used to determine the level of student proficiency in English. The test also assesses their progress towards becoming fluent in English. And like I said, the assessment is done through K through 12. And this is again annually. So each year students will go through this test to determine the levels of proficiency. And I'm going to go over the levels of proficiency in just a bit, but then also assesses their progress so that they can help benefit them in the following year, whether they need certain attention or if they need to move up in the proficiency level. What skills are tested? So the first one is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So these are the four main skills that are tested. Students need to be able to speak proficiently in English. They need to listen. They need to make sure they are able to comprehend what people are saying in English. Reading, they need to have that literacy through text. And writing, they need to be able to apply their literacy in a form of writing. How is it measured? So the CELDT measures by placing students in 5 categories. And here are the 5 categories, starting from the beginning stage, early intermediate stage, intermediate, early advanced, and advanced. So each year students are assessed their progress in every level, determining whether they need to move up or if they need to stay the same. I looked at it and tried to find out if students can be moved back from it. I believe they can, but I would say it's rarely. I mean, if they're in that level, that's where they need to be. So if anything, students will continue to remain in that level and not go backwards. So they can only go up. Flaws of the system. So this is a statewide accountability system which reports on English proficiency achievements objectives for English learners. And this is not perfect, just like any human institution. There are flaws. So instruction time is more about test preparation. So there's no meaningful learning really, I would say, going on. Teachers are teaching so that when they do take that annual assessment, that students will be able to move up. So they're teaching towards a test. Discriminatory questions. So students that come from different cultures, when they're taking these standardized testing, the the questions could be culture related to our own culture, and if it's not known in their culture, they are going to have a challenging time with this question. So that's kind of discriminatory. Multiple choice format is inadequate. Um, it doesn't basically filling in a bubble is not telling me that you actually know the subject, even if you get it right. I mean, it could be a lucky guess. So it's an inadequate way to see if students are actually progressing in understanding language, becoming literate, and no meaningful knowledge of learning. This goes back to teaching towards a test, that students are it's more about repetition and trying to find the best possible answer in multiple choice. They're not really learning real life situations or being able to apply it in the real world. Unreliable assessments for students' performance again. This goes back to the multiple choice, where it's unreliable. Just because they did bad doesn't mean they don't understand it. It could be an issue that students are not as good test takers. I know for me, example, I do well in written tests, writing out presentations, but when it comes down to multiple choice, I do struggle with it. And these are the sources I use for my presentation, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.